everyone. Hello, hello. Welcome to Living in Peace podcast with me, your host, Nakia, and I am joined by a very, very special guest today. Her name is Maureen. I have known Maureen for, I want to say, over 20 years, maybe.
Yes,
I have
definitely.
known her for so long, and I am so happy to have her on today's episode. Today's topic, we are going to be talking about authenticity, and I thought this was a perfect topic for Miss Maureen because one thing I know about her, she is authentic. So, hi, Maureen. Welcome.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Of course, of course. So, tell us, who is Maureen?
Wow, very, so many things. 42 years old, two children, grown children. I'm in healthcare. I'm a happy person,
Yes.
alive. I want to
Yes.
be, I want to always be at peace.
Yes.
I'm just, a happy person. I love
Yes.
my friends. I love my family. I love my
Yes.
career. I am
Yes.
just what you see is what you get.
That is true because one thing that I know about you, Maureen, is you are going to be yourself. And that's one thing that I love about you is your authenticity. I'll watch your videos, I'll watch your posts, I'll look at your posts, and you are just as real as can be. And that's one of the things that I love about you. And I couldn't think of any other topic but authenticity for this episode. So let me ask you this. Why do you think people struggle with being authentic to their true self?
Well, I think, a lot of times, oftentimes, they're just afraid, of being judged,
Yeah.
of, other people's opinion.
Yes,
And I just think that, listen, it's a short life that we live in.
that's true.
Be yourself. If you want to wear green hair, wear green hair. If you want to have piercings, do that. I just feel like, life is too short to not be who you are. Let the world know who you are. Give them a taste of you.
And I have to agree. And like, even with this podcast that I'm doing, right? So I am not worried about the views. I am not worried about the likes. Only thing that I want is for people to share because you never know. This could be a blessing for someone else, right? Like we
Absolutely.
we are just regular people, right? I have a job 9 to 5. You have a job 9 to 5. I'm a mother of two. You're a mother of two, right? And there's so many people out there who are worried. Social media has us in such a chokehold. Like it's
Yes,
crazy,
absolutely. I
right?
agree.
Like
Yeah.
people have, you got to look a certain way. You got to have this kind of body. It's like it's crazy. No, like I am not you know, a small girl, right? So it's like I have to admit though, like I've had that fear. I've had that stuff in my mind when I post things. Like I'm soon as I post it, like I'm looking at the likes, or as soon as I
Right.
post it, I'm looking at the views. And with this podcast, what I started to, and this is what God told me. God said, listen, you do what I tell you to do with this podcast, and
Right.
I'm going to be the one who does it, right? Because you're just one click away, you're one view away, you're one decision away from going where I want you to go, right?
Right.
So, but
Right.
you're right, it's fear. And I have to say, like, in my last relationship, I I was me, right? Like I was Kia, fun, happy. I had my personality, but when it came to the time of wanting to speak about certain stuff, I had to kind of put that down because I was worried of the reaction that I was going to
Right.
get. You
What
know
that
what I mean?
person would think, or I get it. I totally understand that. And I think
Yeah.
that we can relate. Because now that you said that, I think I felt like that in my last
Yeah.
relationship as well.
Yeah.
You don't want to be yourself because oh, you're somebody's mom, like that's something that has been said to me. I like to dress sexy, I want to look good, just because I'm a mom doesn't mean that I can't be beautiful and
Oh, so
attractive.
you got Kiki Palmer.
Yes, exactly. Yes, and I'm just like, okay, I'm not
Right.
looking for that reaction. I don't have to worry about that now. Thank God.
Thank God.
But I've been through that where,
Yeah.
you're judged by the person that you're with. And even though they met you that way, they get used to how you've changed to accommodate them. And it's just, it's unfortunate, and we do often kind of dim down for other people, but
Yeah.
no, it's a new we can't do that anymore.
Yeah, yeah, I have to agree. I have to agree. It definitely is fear on why people are not being their authentic self. So I 100% agree. So I have another question. Why do you think there are risks of authenticity? Is it again fear? Like, do you think, that people will abandon you? Do you think, like, is that part of the risk?
Ashamed, yeah, people being ashamed, and again, being judged, we don't like to be talked about,
No.
even though we can be tough, and I don't care what this person said, I don't care what that person said, but we don't like it. It doesn't feel good.
Yeah.
Somebody says, "Oh, did you see Maureen at the club last night? Or did you see her doing X, Y, and Z?" It's not a good feeling to know that people are talking about you or
Right.
whispering, and so I think it's all about, being ashamed, being accepted.
Yeah.
That's a risk that you have to be prepared to be your authentic self.
I believe that. At what point for you, Maureen? So at what point that were you like, you know what? I don't care. I don't care. This is me. This is who I am. Listen, I'm going to post. I'm going to be myself. At what point? Because for me, now I got to this point. Like now I'm 42 years old, right? So like now I'm finally at that point of, you know what? Hey, I got a certain amount of followers, I got a certain amount of views, you know what I mean? Like I I I care, but I don't. Like I just like again, I just want the right message to go across to people. But for you, when did you step or what happened for you to just be like, you know what? This is me.
I can honestly say, during, I would say, like in my late 20s, going into my 30s, when things started to change and I started to mature, where I thought I was mature before, but I started to mature and I started to find myself again. I was lost for a time, being a mother, being a wife, working two jobs, trying to, run a little business. And,
Yes.
I just was lost.
Yeah.
And it got to the point where I had been through so many experiences that I felt like I need to find myself. I need to
Mhm.
now, my kids are older, a little
Mhm.
bit older at that time.
Mhm.
They can, be independent.
Right.
And listen, I started to explore, go out, make
Yeah.
friends, not be
Yes.
afraid to
Right.
say, you know what, it's okay if I'm not home,
Right.
with my spouse or, my
Right.
kids. I'm gonna go outside, I'm gonna have fun.
Right.
I'm
Right.
gonna go have girl talk,
Right.
so I think like in my 30s, my early 30s.
In your early 30s. And I think
Yeah.
this is good for like even young, people listening. You know what I mean? If you're not there yet, it's okay.
Mhm.
But Maureen, one thing you can say now though is that you are much happier
Yes.
than you were. I know that. I see that. I love that. But wasn't it a scary place though to get to? Like to actually transition to that place because you was here in Georgia. Now you in New York. So
Yeah,
you had to really pick yourself up and your family and move. I know that was a scary thing for you.
very scary. I really took a step out on faith, a leap on faith.
Yeah.
And listen, I left Atlanta with $5,000 in my pocket.
Wow.
I got in my truck.
Yes.
My sister came on a one-way flight to pick me up.
Yes.
We had a U-Haul hutch on the back of my Yukon
Yes.
with my two kids, and we came back home. And girl, that was the best thing I could have done.
That was the best thing
The
you could have.
best thing I could have done.
Wow.
I'm originally from New York.
Right.
I was in Georgia for about 13 years, and
Right.
I'm telling you, it was the best thing that I could have done, and at the perfect time.
At the perfect time. So you were married,
Mhm.
right? So was it at the time where you have divorced your husband, your ex-husband, or you were in that process, or did something happen? Like at what point? Like let me just give you an example. Let me give you an example.
All right.
Okay, so my ex-husband and I we separated before this divorce, right? And I didn't know when he was coming back home. I didn't know if he was coming back home. And I felt so lost. Like I realized at that point that I had built my whole entire being and another human being. I realized that I had built my home into someone else. So when he left, I felt homeless.
Right.
Right. So at that point, I felt that, yo, you got to do something. Like there's something is not right. Something is right, not right. You need to find out who you are. And I've always had a relationship with Christ. My relationship has always been on and off, right? When things are good, I'm
Mm-hmm.
not even going to lie. When things are
Yep.
good, I kind of stray away,
Right.
right? And then
Right. Right.
when things are bad, what we do, call on Jesus. Lord, help me.
Lord help me. Oh God,
Father
please,
God, help me.
please.
Lord, please, I need you.
Yes.
You
Yes.
know, and he wants so much more. He wants more of because he can give us so much more, right?
Right.
So I asked you that question because that for me is when I realized I didn't know who I was and I needed to make a change. I needed to make a change within myself. And I said to myself, for those 5 months that he was gone, I was depressed. I was a mess. I said, I will never put myself in that position again. And I started to do the inner work for me, for
Right.
Nakia. So I asked you, when you divorced your ex-husband, right? At what point happened for you to be like, you know what? Mm-mm. This is not gonna, like, what happened? Did God put that thought in your head? Is that something that you did on your own?
Well, let me shock you because I don't know if you're aware, because we know each other for a long
Right,
time. And
right.
I divorced him twice, actually.
Okay,
Okay. So
okay,
I was married twice to him.
okay, okay.
The first time, first of all, let me just say this.
Okay.
I was with him for 20 years.
Wow.
So from the age of 15, I was with him. He is the father of my two children. And, I grew up with him, you know, and I divorced him the first time
Okay,
because, there were a lot of things that transpired during the marriage.
okay,
There's infidelities,
okay,
abuse, verbally, physically, emotionally,
okay.
you know, um, I felt, and, I really did feel, and I still do, felt like I did everything. And I always used to say to myself, listen, the day that I walk away, I am going to walk away like this.
Surrendered, finished, done.
Because I did everything. I forgave you. I kept it moving. I was still a wife, and I'm Haitian, Caribbean descent. So I believe in being submissive, even at a young age. That's how I saw my mother with my
Okay,
father and, things like that. So I just feel like I was a wife. I was
okay.
a mother. I went to work. I worked two jobs. I would
Wow.
come home and cook, take care of the
Yeah,
kids. We were going through struggles.
yeah,
And I was always the one, it's gonna be okay, it's gonna be
yeah,
okay, it's gonna be okay.
yeah.
But the day that I got an epiphany, and it was who else could it be but God?
But God,
Who else
but
could it be
God,
but God?
but
On
God.
my anniversary, and I just woke up that day and I just said, I'm not in love.
Yeah,
I don't want to do this.
yeah,
I don't feel like
yeah,
I don't want to be in this relationship.
yeah.
And I didn't care. I didn't tell anyone.
Wow.
Of course we have
Yeah.
friends and we share our stories with
Sure.
our friends. A lot of things I didn't share.
Yeah,
And I just took it in on my own, but I just knew like that specific day I knew I don't want to be with you anymore.
yeah.
He came home that night thinking, everything was, and nothing happened that day or the day
Right.
before. I
Okay.
woke up and I
You woke
felt
up, you felt
like
that.
a slap.
That was
Like if
God.
you don't get up,
That was
and I
God.
wasn't afraid to say it. Sometimes you're like, "Oh, I'm gonna leave you," and da da da.
Oh yeah.
I wasn't afraid.
Oh
And
yeah.
that day, and he wasn't really into like God and things. I used to see couples going to church and I used to be like,
Uh-huh.
"Oh, maybe we should go to church. Let's go to church and see because we had so many things going on.
Sure.
Let's go to church." No, we're not going to church. We don't have to go to church. His family, they're religious.
Okay.
And he didn't want to,
Mhm.
but he tried to. He From that day,
He tried.
he went to church. And I said, "Well, I'm
Wow.
not going to church. I don't want to go to
Wow.
church."
Yeah. Wow.
And I know that that sounds kind of crazy.
But you
Um,
were done.
Yeah,
You
I
didn't
was
want to fix it. And
no.
you believe that he was going to church
Yeah,
to keep
absolutely.
you. He
Right. And
wasn't
then
going to
yes,
church for the relationship of God. He wasn't going to church to really learn the word. Like he
no.
wasn't going to church for him. He was going to church to make you feel better so you could
Right.
stay.
Right.
So
And
he
you
was
know,
being manipulative.
oh
Like
yes, absolutely.
like
And
let me do
had them come to the house and everything. And I said, I'm sorry, but I don't want to talk. You
Wow.
know, my mind was made up.
It was made up.
I knew what I wanted to do, and
Yeah.
I knew what I didn't want to do.
Right.
And I didn't want to, fake the funk anymore. I just knew
Sure.
that I didn't want to be in this relationship anymore.
Sure. Sure.
Um,
No.
so we got a divorce. He did move out. We were separated. Divorce was final for a year.
Wow.
For a year.
Okay.
And then it was gonna be Christmas. And the first
Okay.
Christmas, I was like, he was calling, and he was very absent during that time, but he
Okay.
wanted to, it was hard for him,
Sure.
and a little hard for my kids, their
Of
first Christmas.
course.
um
Yeah. Without their
so
dad.
yes, without the dad. So we talked about it, and I said, you know what, a friend of mine actually
Mhm.
convinced me to let him come over for Christmas.
Okay. Okay.
So my kids were sleeping, and we talked the entire night.
Okay.
And again,
Yes.
God put it in me to
Thank
give
you,
him another
Jesus.
chance.
Wow.
That conversation, that night, and I mean, it was only conversation.
Wow.
And I saw that he wanted to I felt like I believed him. I
Sure.
believed him that,
Sure.
okay, we talked about everything, even the
Yeah.
things that we had talked, like he knew. I felt like,
Yeah.
okay, let me try to make my family work.
Yeah.
You know, my kids, woke up and they saw him for Christmas and they were happy. My son, funny story, he said, "Mom, I wished on a star that my dad that my dad would be here." And like I said, wow, so your
Oh,
wish came
wow.
true,
Yeah.
you know. And so we did that, and here I am rushing. I'm like, but we're gonna have to get married again, because I was married to you for all these years.
Right.
We're gonna live together without being married, because that's gonna
Yeah.
make us look bad.
Right.
I'm
See?
gonna feel weird. You
See?
know, we're not married.
See?
So we went to the courthouse and got remarried.
Okay. Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that is definitely a testimony within itself, just hearing that voice from God and then you went ahead and did it. But I do want to ask what attracts people to Maureen? I know when we spoke before, you were saying that you inspire so many young young girls, what attracts people? Because I could tell you why I'm attracted to you. I mean, for
Right.
one, your beauty, your personality,
You.
you have that. And we have that connection. We both from New York. I, I can say I know what attract, but why does other people attract to you?
I think, well, a lot of times, like in high school and junior high, I used to get a lot, oh, she thinks she all that, or they thought I was stuck up or whatever, until they got to know me.
Right.
They would always say, "Oh, I remember when I first met you, I didn't like you." I was like, "Oh," once they get to know me, because I try to be down to earth.
Sure.
I am a regular person just like you,
Sure.
and you don't know what I've been through.
No.
And when people hear the stories that I tell, they're so surprised. Like, not you.
Yeah.
You went through that, or you put up with that. That
Wow.
happened. So definitely my personality,
Okay.
my smile. Everybody's like, "Oh, you're always
Yes.
smiling. You're always
Yes.
smiling."
Yes.
Regardless, trust me. Let me tell you. There were times where I wasn't at home, I
Yeah.
wasn't smiling.
Sure.
But my mother raised us, when we come outside, you need to not let them see what's going on.
Okay.
So I'd be up all night fighting.
Right.
But guess what?
Wow.
I
Wow.
have to get up and get to work, and I'm smiling. No one ever knew. I
So,
was the same.
so let me ask you. So, do you think that because I did the same, especially going through this whole divorce. Like people say to me all the time, especially at work, you're always so happy, you're always smiling. And inside, I could be dying. Like inside, I am hurting, I am tired, or I may not be feeling well. There's something going on, in my family. There's something going on in my marriage. There's something going on in my health. But I come to work, I'm like, good morning. Good
Yeah.
morning. How are you? But is that not being authentic though when we do that? Is that
I think we don't want, of course, we don't want anybody in our business, right?
sure?
And we want to remain strong for
Yeah, we
people,
do.
you know. It's almost like, I feel like a lot of in the workplace, I come in, good morning, like they're looking forward to that.
Yes.
Where others may not come in that way. You
No.
know, if I come to dinner with friends, hey girl, what's going on?
Yeah.
That's me.
Right.
So for me to come in and I'm not like that, they're going to be worried. They're going to be
Right.
concerned. What's wrong?
Does that bother you?
I mean, it does.
It it
It does. I
it
don't
it
want,
does to me too
yeah, I
sometimes.
don't want people to worry about me. And
Yeah.
I'm the baby of the family, and I just feel like my sisters and my brothers, like they always know that, like they're not used to me being that way.
Right.
Like I'm kind of like the pit bull.
Mhm.
I'm the pit bull of the family. Like I'm ready to, what, who said that to you? Who did that? But it's just like, I have been beaten down before.
Yeah.
I have cried
Mhm.
before. I've
Yeah.
been so insecure, but
Mhm.
you just can't, I just can't show that to everyone. And I don't
Right.
I just can't carry it with me because I have to get through the day. I want to get through the day, and then when I come back home, yes, I do have to deal with those things, or I had
Mm.
to deal with those things. So I mean, I don't want to disappoint people.
Right.
Because they're expecting you to be this same person.
Right.
And I try to be the same person.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you have any resources that kind of help you um get through those struggles? Like for an example, did you do therapy? Did you do counseling? Did you do I did therapy, which I'm looking for another therapist, but I did therapy during that time and I enjoyed it for a while. I think that I messed up by bringing my ex-husband to the same therapist because things kind of took a turn. But I remember during that time God was telling me that he's my source. Like I can get resources and that's fine. Therapy is great. I encourage therapy. I love going to therapy. I just need a new therapist. But what got you through like those times, you know?
Yeah, my kids.
Okay.
My kids, and of course, praying.
Yes.
At that time, I really didn't do therapy. I talked about therapy,
Sure.
and I wanted to do couples therapy.
Okay.
But it wasn't as popular then. I feel that it is now, or
Mhm.
you just didn't hear about it then as much as you do now.
Right.
And like music,
Right.
you know, Tony Gaskins, believe it or
Yes.
not, he is an
Wow,
amazing,
yes.
like The Burning House,
Yes.
Favor, like,
Yes.
I watched all of his videos, and,
Yes.
I just, my children, I don't want my kids to worry because, again, I'm in the house. We don't want our children to worry,
Right. You don't.
and I just, God got me through.
You
God
thank
got me through. I didn't really talk about it much.
Okay.
I did spend a lot of time alone because my spouse would always be out.
Okay.
And I think that helped.
Okay.
It helped and it didn't help, but
Okay. You're right.
but that alone time,
Yeah.
I really took pride in like taking care of my home, taking care of
Sure.
my kids,
Sure.
and things like that. So I think that those were the only resources that I had.
Okay. Okay. And I know that your children and your family, they know authentic Maureen.
Yeah.
Like they know that. But for yourself, when going back to what you said when you were like, people don't like to see you not smiling, right? Or people do you feel that it's okay for you to be in that space of, you know what, not being in self-pity like all day every day, not like that, but I mean like do you feel it's okay for you to just have that time to feel? Because there are times where I don't want to smile. There are
Mhm.
times where I don't want to talk. And then the first thing people ask is what's wrong, and I don't necessarily want to share. So what I started saying was, I started saying, I'm not okay, but I don't want to speak about it. But, is there anything I can help you with? Is there anything you need? Or, because I don't want to like fake smile all day, because there's sometimes you don't have it in
Yeah.
you. And then there's sometimes where you actually can smile. So for you, how
Yeah,
did
I think it's absolutely okay to have an off day.
yeah,
90% of the time we're not like that, right?
right.
But it's okay to have an off day, and I think
Yeah,
that's a good way to, kind of guide them away from you, is to
sure,
say something like that. I'm having a bad day. This morning
sure.
I had a rough commute to work.
Wow.
And I was annoyed,
Right.
and I'm just like, when I walked in, I was like, good morning. And then
Yeah,
everyone saying good morning, good morning. I'm like, oh, I had such a rough morning,
right.
like it was crazy getting here
Right.
today. But and it kind of annoyed me.
Okay.
And I do get annoyed. Believe it or not, I get annoyed a lot rather quickly. And I think that is something that that's something that I want to work on more. I think that through the uh situations that I've been through, I've built that, where I'm
Okay.
like, I get annoyed really quick,
Okay. Okay.
or I get anxious.
Mm,
So I'm trying to work on that and be more mindful of that.
okay.
But absolutely,
Okay.
you have those off days.
Okay.
I don't like to be around people when I'm like that, because
Okay.
energy does transfer.
Sure.
So if I'm not having a good day, or if I
Sure.
don't feel like talking, I won't pick up the phone.
Sure.
I may text,
Yeah.
things like that, or I'll just be quiet. But
Yeah.
then they always say, "What's wrong with you?
Yeah.
You all right?"
Yeah.
I usually just try to be like, "Yeah, I'm fine. I'm just having, I'm just tired."
Right. Right.
So,
I thank God for his word, and I thank God for me being in his word so much, because the Bible for me is instructions for life, right? So when you were talking about you're anxious all the time, the first verse that popped up in my head was Philippians 6 and 7, where the Bible says, worry about nothing, anxious for nothing, but instead pray about things, right? And so when I feel myself becoming anxious, I'll be mindful of my thoughts. I'll try to correct my thought pattern, and then I'll start doing what works for me, whether that's prayer, whether that's because one thing that I've learned is that it's affecting my peace. It's affecting my peace. And there is no one or nothing that should have that much power over me to
absolutely.
affect my peace, whether that's a commute to work, whether that's being stuck in traffic, whether that's a coworker, whether that's our children. I'm like, you know what? And peace is not the absence of trouble. Peace is what you have in the midst
Right.
of trouble, right?
Right.
So what do we do in those times of trouble? Again, it doesn't have to be extreme trouble, like, divorce, or it could be going to work. So I was just having a conversation with somebody the other day. Like, I learned a long time ago, when we're stuck in traffic, there's nowhere we can go. There's nothing we can do. There is so why am I going to have that affect my peace? So I started doing like little mind games with myself, right? Whether that's
Mhm.
putting on a song or watching a video or doing something, but I am learning to live in peace. I am learning to be able to be who I am, be Nakia's authentic self, pray more, doing different things, getting out of that comfortable zone, because that's another thing. Being too comfortable somewhere, that can
Yeah.
that can mess you up too. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, that
Absolutely.
can really take away from you learning. That can really take away from you doing certain stuff. So I when you were talking about commuting, when you were talking about uh being anxious, that Bible verse came up for me. So I wanted to share that.
Definitely. Thank you. I try to listen to music. You know, I do try, and again, that's something that I do struggle with. Like,
Sure.
if I get upset about something, and I'm an overthinker, so something is bothering me. If I'm worrying about something, it's just like
Yeah.
I'm just like I keep thinking about it until it's like I always got to find a solution.
But
And
see,
again, in those 20 years, I was the decision maker. I was the one
okay.
who had to figure it out. So my
Okay.
mind, it
Okay.
just work. It just think, oh my God, we can't pay this bill.
Sure.
Okay, what do I got to do?
Sure.
Oh, I have to, pick up my kids. Okay, what do I have to do? Like so many things. It was always me, 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 me. So my
Mhm.
mind, I feel like it's programmed
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
And it's funny because my boyfriend,
Hmm.
he says, Maureen, relax.
Yeah.
Let me take on the load. Just
Wow.
relax, like,
Wow.
and it's telling you that is something that I'm still not used to, but it's like
Mhm.
he's right,
Okay.
okay, I'm learning and I have learned to like, okay,
Okay.
I don't gotta say, well, okay, I'm not gonna say that. I'm not gonna tell you.
Right.
Let him. He'll take
Right.
it on. You know what I
Right.
mean? So that's something that I'm still working on.
Okay. No, that's good. I used to be like that. I used to want to control everything. And he used to tell me, I'm not your child. Like I'm not, because I always had that motherly, like you
Exactly.
said, you're the person who knows when the bills is due, when the kids got, concerts, school events, you in there going to work, cooking dinner, you're the one who does everything. So it's hard when you
Yeah.
jump into another relationship to kind of turn that off, you know what I
So
mean?
hard. That is
Hard.
like of that I must say, and not to go off topic, but I must
No.
say that is one of the hardest things
Okay.
to do is come from when you're in a long-term relationship and trying to not bring in.
Oh, you gotta listen to the episode I recorded my episode 1. He talked about letting go of the past and the damage that we can do though when
Absolutely.
we bring the past into the present. That's damaging.
Absolutely.
So
Very
you got to
damaging.
be careful with that.
Very damaging. And I thank God
Yes.
for my boyfriend's patience with me
Good.
because I'm not perfect.
No
And
one is.
I'm used to a certain way and I'm used to a certain reaction when arguments may come and I'm just on a defense like what you're gonna hit me, you're gonna what,
See, and he's not
and it's
even
like
like that.
whoa.
Right.
He's like, oh God, let's stop. Never. I would never, like, and I had to sit and think like, Maureen, you cannot, you have to stop.
Yeah,
And we talk a lot and we do always talk
that's
about
great.
things. When we don't, when we disagree, we will come back and talk about it.
That's
And
great.
I have learned to not do that.
That's good.
Because it's not fair. It's not fair to him. It's not fair to me.
Two things that I heard you say was, for one, that you would catch yourself, which that's great, being aware. Like
Yeah.
you're aware of what it is you're doing. There's a difference when you're not aware of what it is that you're doing and then you doing it,
Right.
but being aware. So that's a plus. And two, you have such a patient, loving man who is such the opposite of what you were in, that he can say, hey, and then you guys can come back and communicate, because communication is so
Oh,
important.
so important. And I do think my relationship previously, because I learned
Yes.
how to communicate
Yes.
moving forward. And
Sure.
I learned how to not communicate.
Sure.
It's not good to communicate so disgusting. Like I can say that arguments were very, very bad
Oh
then.
yeah.
We from New York, so the mouth can get crazy, but it's something that I've learned.
Mhm.
Even communicating period with my children, with my
Yes.
family. I'm
Yes.
always a hothead. Like I'm ready to curse you out if I'm not liking what you're saying. I'm ready to, like, I don't want to talk about, like, I'm ready to just go blow for blow, and I'm trying to be better at that. I'm grown. I'm too old
Right.
to just go from 0 to 100.
Right.
So again, work in progress.
We all are. Hey, we are all a work in progress. I'm not gonna sit here and say that, no, 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 no. I'm a work in progress. You're a work in progress. And that's what I love, is that we know what we need to do to get better. It's the steps that comes in between, right? And that's one thing too. Like, we're gonna be tested.
Yeah.
Like, something is gonna happen to it, because you could try all day, right? Like, we could be like, I try, and then something happen. You be like,
Girl, I be like, you see, I'm trying.
see, at that point, you need to think about Living in Peace podcast.
Yes, yes. Let me
You
live
got
in peace.
Living in Peace, LIP, Living in
Yes,
Peace, because you are
yes.
not about to steal my peace. I'm about to
No,
walk away for a second,
absolutely.
and I'm gonna come back, because you are not about to steal my peace. But no, I get it. A work in progress, and
Yes.
that's what
And
I love.
actually, now that you just said that, I do, like, again, I'm a listener.
That's
People
good.
come to me, and they just feel it's natural to vent to me, and I'm listening.
Mhm.
I just sometimes can't listen to people when they're speaking so negative.
Okay.
Like someone will be talking to you about something and they're so
Sure.
negative, and you're
Sure.
trying to tell them, well, I've been through it.
Yeah.
Okay, let me give you advice. Let me tell you what
Yeah.
helped me. And that person's
Right.
like, no, well, I separate myself,
Yeah.
because that's me keeping peace. Because I don't
Yeah.
want to take on your problems.
Right.
I'm here. I can help you. I can help
Sure.
you. We can help figure it out. Let's write it down. Let's map it
Sure.
out. Let's see
Yeah.
how we can get you out of this situation, or help you,
Sure.
get over it.
Yeah.
But I have learned to, when someone doesn't want the help, I
Yeah.
just I have to step away, because I can't take that negative energy.
Of course.
It's very contagious.
Yes, that is true. And it's very draining too, to
Oh,
be
yes.
around such negative people. What I do is, well, now I pray for them. Like,
Yeah.
once I get that vibe that, you're not even really taking into consideration what it is that I'm saying, right? So just forget it. So one thing that we can do this together right now. Let's pray, and then I'm going to pray after that, because there's nothing that I can do
Right.
at that point, to help you in that situation. So no, I get it. And energy is real. Like, you don't want to be around. As soon as I feel that
Yes.
demon spirit, that's why I thank God for the spirit of discernment. You got to
Yes.
pray for the spirit of discernment, because you are able to really discern when it's bad and when it's
And it's
good,
good.
because you feel that you feel
Absolutely.
that when you walk into a room. You feel that when even you were talking about listening, to go back to that. Like, listening is a part of communication, but
Mm.
you can feel that vibe when something is off. So
Right. Right.
I get it.
Right. And that's one thing too, with keeping my peace. I don't let your bad day be my bad day.
Right.
I'm sorry. I
Right.
can't. Because
No.
I'm not gonna I'm not gonna take it out on you.
Sure.
So I don't want you taking it out on me.
Sure.
So, mm-mm.
So let me ask you this: for Maureen, what does living in peace look like for Maureen?
Ah, happiness, girl. Smiling, laughing, dancing. My little videos.
I love it.
Girl,
I love it.
I
I
just
I'm a, no mean to cut you off, but I do have to say, I could be feeling a certain way, and I'm on Instagram, and I see your pretty face, and I'll see your pretty smile. It'll just make me smile. It'll make
thank
so
you.
yes. Okay, going back to what living in peace looks like for you.
Just, my house, Nakia, is so peaceful.
I love it.
Okay. People would come over, our friends and our family and stuff that
Sure.
we share. And they would be like, oh my God, your home is so homey. But girl, you come to New York and you come to my house now. It is peaceful. Okay. We playing music, we're eating, we're having a drink or two, we're laughing. I go to sleep sometimes. Me and my boyfriend is just cracking up laughing, like hollering like cracking up laughing. That's what I find peaceful.
Okay.
I can go to sleep and not worry about anything negatively. My children are excelling, and I did
Mhm.
that. Okay. They're doing very well. And I'm good. My family is healthy. I'm close to my family. I
Yes.
can go see my mom, take a drive an
Yes.
hour away to go see my mom. My
Yes.
sister's around the corner. You
Yes.
know, I have a good work family.
Good.
Even my previous job, like that's peace to me.
Okay.
That's peace. You know,
Okay.
spending quality time with people that love me,
Okay.
and I love them just the same.
Just
No
the same.
judging, no
Yes.
jealousy, no
Yes.
weird vibes. That's
Yes.
peace.
That's peace. I love that. I love that. And I have to agree. You said happiness because being happy is a choice, right? You have to choose to be happy. You have to choose to say, you know what? I don't care if this doesn't work. I don't care if that doesn't work. I'm choosing to be happy regardless. So I love that.
Regardless.
I love that. And I love when I ask people what does living in peace look like to you and I get these different answers and yours was just so like I see you when you say peaceful. What does peace look like? I was with a guest the other day and I asked him, I said, what does living in peace look like for you? And she said the small things, just the sky, she said just the trees or just seeing my kids or being with my kids, all of these things, music, dancing, laughter, family, nature, that is what peace is. And for me, it's all of that.
Yes,
On
definitely.
It's all of that under the umbrella of the Prince of Peace himself. And that's
Yes,
God, that's God and the word and
absolutely.
everything of the sort. So I love that. I love that. What message do you want to give to the listeners and the viewers today? If you can tell them anything, what is the one thing or multiple things that you want to say to them?
Be yourself. Walk in your truth. You know, take, let the guard down. Let
Yes.
your guard down. You know, be who you are. If you want to go on that date, go on that date. If you want to go for that new job, go for that new job. Follow your heart and don't let anyone change your mind. It's good to go to others for support. Unfortunately, not everybody is going to support you the way that you want, but I just feel like everybody should just, not care. Talk to
Yes.
God about it.
Yes.
And, that's what I always do.
Yes.
Talk to God about it
Yes.
and, make your own final decision as to
Yes.
what you want in life. Make
Yes.
a vision board, set goals for
Yes.
yourself, write it
Yes.
down, and it
Yes.
doesn't happen overnight. It does
No,
not happen
that's
overnight.
good. That's
Okay.
good.
So, be patient with yourself.
That's good.
Get out of those toxic relationships, please.
Please.
Okay. Because we've all, abuse is abuse, disrespect is disrespect. Feeling unloved is feeling unloved. What feels unloved to you may not be the same to me, but it doesn't matter. Know what you want, what you desire, and go after it.
I love
I want
that.
to say a whole bunch of other things, but
No, please, no, say it. No, tell
you know,
this is yes, what
I just
else?
feel
Because
like,
I'm listening
we
to you and I'm asking what message do you want to give to the people, but I'm taking this in like, yeah, you're right. I am
yeah,
gonna do that. Yeah, you're right. That's what
yeah,
I'm going
like
to
it's
do.
life is
No,
too short. We're losing too many people, and
you're right.
I want my children to walk in my with me on their mind. Like, I really raised my kids by myself, regardless of being in a relationship with their father,
Understand.
and I just really want them to do and it instill what I've put in them. Of course, I want them to have their own path, which they do.
Sure.
But like, I just want to see them happy. I
Yeah,
want them to walk a straight line. I don't want them to care what other people think about them.
right.
What if they feel like something is right, then do it. Go for it. Give it a try.
Try.
Give it a try. Like I said, life is too short. We're
It
losing
is.
a lot of people.
It
Okay.
we are.
And I want, my legacy. I want you to remember my smile, remember my
Yes.
videos, remember I love to dance, my
Yes.
Haitian music, my
Yes.
reggae.
Yes.
Remember that I'm just a happy person. I,
Yes.
I don't want to be remembered for anything bad.
Right.
So people need to make a legacy,
Right.
so that we can remember you and really truly celebrate you.
Right.
because like we never know when it's going to be that time, you know. And do, you know, talk to God. I'm not a religious person. Like I said, you just recited a Bible verse. I can't recite a Bible verse, but
Okay.
you know, I was raised talking to God, you know what
Yeah.
I mean? So
Yeah.
I have my relationship with him, and I call on him every day. I thank him for having my children, for
Mm,
my life.
mm,
Okay. So I just follow your dreams, follow your heart, do what you want to do, you
yeah.
know, do what you want to do and be yourself.
I love that.
Yeah.
That is so inspiring, Maureen. And I'm sitting here listening and I'm thinking at the same time because I'm like uh, trying to take it all in at the same time. But yes, I would have to agree with, with your message. That is being yourself, setting boundaries.
Definitely.
I will add setting boundaries is so important. And I
Definitely.
didn't understand that, unfortunately, until the end of
Yeah.
my last relationship. And once I started setting those boundaries, I ended up here.
See, and you're doing an amazing job, and you know, I'm seeing you, and I'm seeing it, and I'm seeing it, and I'm gonna be honest with you, like, you know, I watch your stories and stuff, and
Sure.
I know you, I know you and everything, and
Sure.
I can see the shift.
Wow. Praise God.
I can see the shift, and you
Wow.
officially announced it, and that's why I wrote you that message. Is
Yes.
and I could feel the chills right now
Yes.
because
Me
I
too.
meant what I said.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I feel you
Yes.
without even knowing details.
Wow.
I don't need to know the
Wow.
details. I never need to know the details.
Yeah.
One sister
Wow.
to another, I
Yes.
feel you. And I'm so
Wow.
happy on this journey that you're on, for this journey that you're on.
Thank you so much.
I get it. I totally get it.
Thank you so much. That gave me chills. That warmed my heart. I appreciate that because this is a difficult journey, but I am trusting God, right? I am having more faith than fear. I am going according to his will and not mine. I am staying this space that I'm in right now. I've never been here before.
Mhm.
I too have two older girls who they are, I don't have little ones anymore,
I
right?
know.
So
They're
it's
so big. They've grown so
they've
beautifully.
grown so beautifully, and my youngest, she just turned 18 this past
I
weekend, and
know.
she took us senior pictures, and I'm just like you said, your family, my kids, I look at my girls and my new grandson.
I
I'm a
know.
grandmother,
Such a
and I look at them
queen.
and I'm like, "Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Father. If you do nothing else for me, you've done enough." My
Yes,
girls have waken up another day. They are healthy. They are living. They are on their own path. And I know that although their path may not be straight always,
of
because
course.
we've had crooked paths,
Yes.
right? But one thing about God is that He will make your path straight.
Yep.
You can pray for things and you can tell Him the desires of your heart, and He'll give you the desires of your heart, but he's also going to order your steps. And sometimes
Absolutely.
the steps that you take, you be stepping like, God, you sure?
Right. Right.
Like, is this the way
He
I'm
gonna
really
give you that
supposed to?
push. He gonna give you. I know. He gonna
Woo,
give you that push.
woo,
Those voices that you hear.
woo.
Those voices that you hear. They're serious voices.
Serious.
It's up to you now. He's telling you. He's told me so many
Yes,
times,
yes,
and I didn't listen.
yes.
But when I listened, girl,
Girl,
when it hit,
it's a whole new thing. And he's so loving. I love him so much. He's so loving because he's so patient, right?
yeah,
He'll sit there and be like, okay, go ahead.
mhm,
Go ahead, Maureen. Go ahead, Kia. Just
right,
you go ahead to do
yep,
it, but I'm trying to tell you to go this way. Jeremiah 29:11, one of my favorite scriptures, one of my first scriptures that I took in and meditated on when with going my way of divorce is he says, I know the plans that I have for you. They are for good and not for disaster. They are to give you a future and hope. And
mhm,
I just took that in. I was like, yes, Lord. Thank you, Jesus. You know the plans that you have for me. They better than my plans. My plan was to stay where I was at.
mhm.
My plan was to be
Because
like,
because you're used to that.
I'm comfortable.
Yep,
I'm
comfortable. That's it.
comfortable.
We
I
got
was
to be
comfortable.
uncomfortable sometimes,
Yeah.
Kia. We got to be uncomfortable sometimes. It's okay. And it's
Hey, I was
okay to be
scared.
alone.
I was scared.
I know.
I was scared.
It's okay. That's another message that needs to go out to the listeners. Like, it's okay to be by yourself.
Eh,
It's okay.
Let me tell you, I was scared to be alone. I always was a relationship type girl. I was always a one man kind of girl, but I was always from one, give myself a little time, but then I went to the next, right? And then, but this season that I'm in, it's pretty good.
I know. I know.
It's pretty good. And I am learning that the season that I'm in is a season of isolation for just Nakia in my relationship with God and being a new grandmother and being a mother. Because we all know that the way we mother our children now is not the way that they were when they were 7 and 8 years old.
No,
We
no.
got grown children now. We'll never stop being a mom,
Yeah,
but I believe we're always growing as mothers because
absolutely. Every day.
you've never been your son is your oldest.
Yeah, he's 24
He's
and my daughter's
24.
20.
20, right? You've never been a mother of a 24-year-old
No.
daughter.
So
So
these
you're
are
learning.
many adults that I have to talk to that don't want to listen sometimes, or really have opinions or their feelings and their thoughts, and they're very vocal about them. And you got to kind of step back a little bit, and you have to respect it.
You do.
And I'm learning that too.
Yes.
I'm learning that too. I'm learning to, okay,
Yes, ma'am.
all right, because they're young adults now.
Yes, ma'am.
So that's kind of, that can be hard, but
It
I just
is.
pray for their health and their safety.
Yes.
And we don't want our children to be hurting,
Right.
those who have girls, we don't want them to get
No.
heartbroken, and we don't want
No.
but guess
No.
what? Unfortunately, it'll happen.
Yeah.
As long as we're there to pick them up, and get them through it. But it's hard.
Yes. No, it is hard. I agree with you. Being a mother is not an easy thing, but it is one of the best things, right? It's like you
Mhm.
have both ends of the stick.
Yeah.
But another Bible verse says, train your child up the way he or she should go. So when they grow old, they will never depart from it, right? So you already planted that seed and your two beautiful children already from when they were young. So
Yeah.
they may depart from what you taught them and they may depart from the ways that you want them to go, but you planted that and you have to trust that they're going to be good. They're going to be, because you're doing you honestly, the only thing you can do for them is pray, and that is the best thing you can do
Yeah.
for them. You may not be able to give them resources, but you praying for them,
Yep.
that's the best thing you could do. And you got to surrender and let them go, like you
Yeah.
said. You got to be like, you know what? Okay, I can't do it, Lord, I can't do it, but I trust you. I
We got to
understand.
keep our peace with that too. Like, listen, all right, let me go back to being peaceful. Cause
Yes. That is
okay.
that again. Don't let nobody steal your peace.
No,
Kids, co-workers, anyone. No,
no.
that's good. That's really good. Is there what else you think? Is there anything else you want to tell the viewers, tell the listeners? Because like this is not going to be your only time on this show. I pray to have you again and
Yes,
again
we
and
can
again.
anytime. I think that the message you're putting out there, and we're putting out there, all your guests, the different topics, is good.
Yeah.
You never know who you're reaching out to,
True.
in all aspects of their
Yes.
life. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to listening.
Me too.
I'm looking forward to being a guest. I'm gonna
Yes.
come sit in your living room
Yes.
too. So
Yes.
listen, no, I think I pretty much, said a lot.
Okay.
And I just hope that people really take it seriously. Be
Yes.
selfish a little bit. It's okay to be a little selfish. Because if you don't take care of you, nobody's going to take care of you.
I understand.
And we are the ones to make ourselves happy. If we don't know
Yes.
what happiness is,
Yes.
how will we know to acknowledge when someone else is not making us happy?
Yes.
So it's very important for us to know what makes us happy and
Yes.
at peace.
Yes. I love that. Do you
So
want to share your handle where people can find you?
sure, on Instagram _BELFANS Creole 81. That's Belle Femme Creole, beautiful Haitian woman.
Okay.
Yes. So yeah, that's the best way to find me.
Okay. Okay. Well, Maureen, it has been a pleasure and honor. I had fun today. I
Thank you
enjoyed you so
too.
much. I pray that you continue to be yourself, be your authentic self, because I love it. I love you.
I
People
love
love
you
you.
too.
And I really am grateful that you took this opportunity to spend with me today
No
on
problem.
Living in Peace with Nakia podcast.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here.
All right. Thank you for having me.
I'll talk to you soon.
All right.